On September 11th, 2021, my long-term boyfriend broke up with me. And that 9/11 was my Vietnam. He broke up with me mere days after my 29th birthday. As it was happening, I was like, I'm sorry, am I in the opening sequence of every movie ever? If I look into a mirror, will I see Julia Roberts? And I don't want anyone to feel bad for me because I got broken up with. I want everybody to feel bad for me because I got broken up with by a self-proclaimed Disney adult. Do we know what a Disney adult is? It's an adult person who enjoys the works of Walt Disney. It does what it says on the tin. What I don't enjoy about Disney adults is that Disney adults appropriate virgin culture without doing the work of not having sex. That's not fair. You don't get both. And some of you are like, Olga, what's it like to long-term date a Disney adult? Well, it's when you're performing oral sex at the Toy Story Hotel at Disneyland Paris. Making direct eye contact with Woody on the wallpaper. And you think to yourself, this is exactly what I had in mind when you said you were whisking me away to Paris. Because London, if we know anything, is that real men like Looney Tunes. If you can appreciate the curves of Jessica Rabbit's body, your balls have dropped. I don't know if you know this, but Elmer Fudd was actually one of the founding members of the NRA. This is true, you can Google it. Because Looney Tunes teaches you real life skills, like when there's a gun pointed to your head, you tie it in a knot like a real man. But the thing you need to know about me is that whenever I go through a breakup, I never get sad. Whenever I'm single, I never get sad. If someone breaks up with me, I never get sad. If someone breaks up with me, if anything, I get more delusionally confident. Do you get this? Like, to give you an idea, a couple of months ago, I was riding this guy's dick, legend. And as I was doing it, I looked him directly in the eye and without a shred of irony said, I'm gonna make you believe in God. That's the last time I fuck Ricky Gervais, am I right? Come on! We're having fun. I could only come if he did Brent. No, he could only come if he did Brent. And look, it's difficult for me to be the comedian that fucks, okay? That is my plight. I know what you want from me. You want me to be a jester. You want me to be a clown. You want to point at me and feel better about your own lives. You want me to be pathetic, right? So I can't really come out here and be like, I have a lot of sex. I have to package it in a sad way. I have to be like, oh, I have a UTI. But how do you think I got it? And the reason I never get sad after I get broken up with, and I never get sad when I'm single, is because I came of age at a very specific time in history. I came of age in the late 90s, early 2000s, at the peak of hoe culture. I was raised by women like Samantha Jones from Sex and the City, like Nessa from Gavin and Stacey. When I was a little girl, I wanted to grow up to become Stifler's mom. And that is why I never get sad when I'm single. When I'm single, I fly my hoe culture flag high. And some of you may be uncomfortable with the term hoe. I totally get it. I used to be uncomfortable with it as well. But then in the last 2 years, I started referring to myself as a hoe, and I thought, what changed? And I think it's because in the last 2 years, I've stopped deriving so much of my self-esteem from sex and romance and started deriving more of my self-esteem from professional achievements and work. And that's when I realized, capitalism. You old dirty bastard, you've done it again! I just have a new daddy to please. I just want Adam Smith's invisible hand to pat me on the bum. He could do other stuff too. God, I love hoe culture. I love hoe culture. Hoe culture to me is the antithesis to traditional femininity. Hoe culture is a toxic femininity. It's fun. It's flirty. Hoe culture is a self-aware narcissism. Hoe culture is breaking the fourth wall to say, am I really about to suck this guy's dick? What am I even like? I love the women of hoe culture. I love Shania Twain singing, "The best part about being a woman is the prerogative to have a little fun." I love Alanis, Avril, all the Canadian yodelers. Do you have copyright to that? It's not necessarily good women either. Nadine Dorries is hoe culture. Brigitte Macron, hoe culture. Do you know Brigitte Macron? First Lady of France. She's married to Emmanuel Macron, the president of France. They met in a classic meet cute. He was 16 and in school, and she was his teacher. 24 years older than him. And every time I think of Brigitte Macron, which is daily, 99% of me is like, oh my God, she's a pedo. She's a groomer. She should be in jail. What a nonce, what a nonce, what a nonce, nonce, nonce. But then 1% of me does inevitably always go, this is her story. Just the 1%. And hoe culture isn't just sex, right? Hoe culture is a way to live life. It's to say, shots on me, and then forgetting your debit card. Hoe culture. What a fun feather boa. Does it come in lime green? Hoe culture. Not bringing any camping equipment to a camping trip you organized. Hoe culture. What's your name, sir?
Ben.
Ben? That's hoe culture. Wearing a cowboy hat indoors? Thank you very, very much. Automatically connecting to the Wi-Fi at the brew dog. That's hoe culture, baby. And usually, when I need to have my sexual needs met after a breakup, I contact a certain someone called Sebastian. Sebastian is a bad signal to all of my friends that I'm single and I'm out on the prowl. And the reason I contact Sebastian is because Sebastian meets most of my sexual needs. But I know for a fact that I will never fall in love with Sebastian. Because the very first time we had sex, Sebastian brought a guitar. There's no risk of me falling in love with anyone who once posted a picture of Elvis Presley on his Instagram feed with the caption, "Rest in peace, King." But I knew for a fact that I would never, ever develop feelings for Sebastian when I realized that he was the type of person to regurgitate facts and anecdotes you told him as brand new information. You know exactly what I'm talking about. He'd be like, "I had diarrhea at the Red Hot Chili Peppers show." That was me! I told you that. He'd be like, "Did you know that this is where the clit is?" I told you that. But this time around, after this breakup, Sebastian wasn't going to do the trick. Because after this breakup, I had a very specific goal in mind. And Sebastian is quite sexually conservative, he's a little bit sexually repressed, and my goal was quite adventurous. What I wanted to do was something I'd never done before. What I wanted to do after this breakup was to have a threesome. Shock, awe. Everyone's like, "Olga, you're so confident. You look like you've forgotten how to have sex with fewer than 4 people. I know, I'm aware of the vibe that I give off. Honestly, it would be so on brand for me to have a threesome. But the main reason I wanted to have a threesome was because I just wanted to see if I could. Like, no one tells you when you're younger how much sex stuff you do, not because you want to do it, but because you want to have done it. Like, you've had a 69 to, like, tick the box, not for the pleasure of anyone involved. Right? I mean, a few years ago, I got obsessed with having sex with a rock star. I was like, I want to fuck a rock star. I want to fuck a rock star. And then I had diarrhea at the Red Hot Chili Peppers show. No, I was like, I want to fuck a rock star. If I have a daughter one day, I want to sit her down and I want to tell her about all the rock stars I fucked. Is this relatable? And so I approached it in a very organized way. I found like a medium-sized band. They were called the Orwells. You don't need to know anything about the Orwells. All you need to know about the Orwells is that they're sort of intellectual enough to call themselves after a literary author. But strategic enough to have that author be on the GCSE curriculum. Okay. So I showed up to the concert, I stood in the back, I sipped on my G&T, I plotted, I schemed, I stayed after the show, I started chatting to the band, I focused on the drummer, lowest self-esteem. I brought him home. The second we walked into my house, I was like, "You can go now." He was like, "What?" I was like, I wanted to see if I could fuck you. I don't actually want to fuck you. He was like, what? I was like, oh, sex with you would probably be terrible. Please leave. And he wasn't too happy about it, but if you feel bad for him, don't. 2 weeks later, the entire band got Me Too'd, so what I was doing was technically activism. Thank you very, very much. So I was thinking as to why I'd never had a threesome before. And I think it's because most formations of threesomes make me feel very uncomfortable. Like, I don't think the division of labor is fair. And I'm very sensitive to unfairness, okay? I don't know if you get this, but like, if I see a pregnant woman and a man out and about, I get angry. I get really angry, because I don't think it's fair for a woman to be less fuckable for 9 months, okay? I'm not saying I wouldn't fuck a pregnant chick. I'm just saying surely it's harder to get laid when you're pregnant. Like, if you saw a pregnant woman in a bar, you'd be like, hey, should you be here? So I've never had a threesome, apart from the time that I fucked that pregnant chick. You'll get there. So let's go through every formation of a threesome and talk about why they don't work for me, okay? First, me and 2 straight men. Absolutely not. No, that's too much work for me. Also, straight men one-on-one, there are some good eggs. Straight men in a group, that's how we get Imagine Dragons. Me and 2 women, that's not a threesome, that's a book club, honey. Olga, what about non-binary people? What about gender fluid people? To me, they are superior human beings. With them, there are no rules. They can pass me around like Pete Davidson. Okay, Olga, what about a man and a woman? I'm sorry, there's not a man on the surface of this fucking planet that deserves to watch me fuck a chick? That's a treat, that's a prize. I cannot think of any man that deserves the satisfaction of watching me make love to a woman. No man deserves that prize. Maybe Captain Tom? After you've done as much as he had for this country, maybe you can watch me kiss a lady. I did this joke to complete silence in Brussels, Belgium, after which I realized that I had to explain the concept of Captain Tom to a room full of unassuming Europeans. And let me tell you, there's no story that gets less and less believable the longer you tell it. I was stuck there on stage sounding like an American drug commercial, okay? I was like, Captain Tom was a war veteran who was walking around in circles in his backyard. He was raising money to treat COVID-19, and when the Tory government found out that he was raising money to treat COVID-19, they decided to give him the job of single-handedly curing COVID-19. No offense to Captain Tom, he did a terrible job. And to thank him for everything he's done for COVID-19, British Airways decided to give him COVID-19 by sending him to the Caribbean, after which he tragically passed. But he died safe in the knowledge that his daughter Hannah stole 600,000 pounds from him. And I'm calling it now. 2 years from now, HBO will get the writers of Chernobyl to do like a Lady Macbeth-esque retelling of Hannah, Captain Tom's daughter. It's the beginning of the pandemic. Hannah's husband loses his job. Hannah has a bright idea. She puts a tripod in front of her father, who's walking around in circles and has no idea what's going on. And at first, they make a little bit of money just to cover the mortgage, maybe some groceries. Hannah's husband's like, babe, that's elder abuse. She's like, who else is gonna pay the mortgage, Chris? They make more money. They have to start a foundation, hire an accountant. Hannah's getting sloppy. Hannah's buying shoes. British Airways flies them out to the Caribbean. By this point, Hannah's too far gone. She's sipping on pina coladas by the pool. She has Captain Tom on the next season of The Masked Singer. They fly back. Captain Tom tragically passes, played beautifully by Eddie Redmayne. The death doesn't stop Hannah. She calls the ABBA hologram people. And if you think I've gone too far, I think we can all collectively agree that Rosamund Pike is going to look beautiful at the Golden Globes. So what I'm trying to say is British Airways killed Captain Tom, so now I can't have a threesome. And there's only one threesome that would work for me. It is a very rare threesome to come by. It is the holy grail of threesomes. And that threesome is me and 2 bisexual men. Because that's a triangle where everybody can entertain everybody, nobody is texting in the corner. Any bisexual men in? Statistically unlikely. Any open-minded straights? Any conservative gays? Look, I urge everyone to reconsider. I think bisexual men are superior to straight men in every single way. For example, bisexual men can take a nude, okay? Because bisexual men are terrified of objectifying themselves a little bit, right? Like any straight man nude I've ever received has always just been a very tightly cropped medical image of their dick that's like, ah! It's purple. Any straight man nude I've ever received can be captioned with the words, "Is this normal?" Should I see a doctor? Because straight men are so terrified of being gay, the second they see a penis on their phone, even their own, they're like, "No!" And they throw the phone across the room. A bi guy isn't afraid of his own body. Maybe he'll get a thigh if you're lucky. He'll be like, "Ooh, it's attached to something." And some of you are like, "Olga, what's it like to long-term date a Disney adult?" Well, it's when you're performing oral sex at the Toy Story Hotel at Disneyland Paris. Making direct eye contact with Woody on the wallpaper. And you think to yourself, this is exactly what I had in mind when you said you were whisking me away to Paris.
Now, the real problem I have is the guys in the room. Any guys who are anti-abortion, I don't understand that. If you're a dude in this room and you're anti-abortion, you need to go to Disneyland. Because you'll be in there for what, 5 seconds? You're like, Jesus, they're everywhere. I feel so bad for the families at Disneyland. Like, there's 2 kinds of people that go to Disneyland. You have the families, and then out here in California, we grow these weird Disney adults. And, you know, God bless them, I don't know where the money comes from, but it's going to mouse ears and turkey legs, and they're having a damn good time. And they're just walking around enjoying Disneyland. Then you have the families, and it's always the moms doing the hard work, right? It's always the moms. They've been training for this all season long. They have like 9 fanny packs. This is a military operation. They're barking out orders to their kids. Fast pass, churro, Dole Whip, go, go. Where's Dad? Dad's always trailing by 20 yards. Pushing a stroller with nothing in it. There's no beer anywhere? Really? And it's this weird thing because every day at sundown, the families are trying to get out of Disneyland, and that's when the Disney adults start coming in. And so you have this battle of the bastards between the 2. It's just an army of strollers versus a battalion of trust funds coming at them. And again, it's just like watching the families walk out of Disneyland. Here's what I propose. I think as you exit Disneyland, you should be able to take a left and go to parking, or take a right and get a vasectomy right then and there. Honey, you get the car. I got one more ride I got to go on real quick. And make it part of the fun. You know, let Goofy perform it. Put a sign up, Mr. Toad's Urology, and you get in the office, you're waiting, the 7 dwarfs march in. Doc gives you the anesthesia. Here comes Goofy in a smock. Hilk, you're done. Mickey's waving to you. Now we both talk like this. And it's Disneyland, so on your way out of the office, you get a picture of yourself getting a vasectomy. Disney's one of those weird corporations, though, that liberals and conservatives kind of hate at the same time. Over the same subject, just for different reasons. Like last year, we got that Buzz Lightyear movie, and both sides hated it. Conservatives thought that Buzz Lightyear made every kid in America gay. Not sure what they based it on, but that's what the belief was. And liberals were like, where was Buzz Lightyear on January 6th? But you can't hate Disney. You can't. They own everything we've ever loved. Like, for instance, for me, big Star Wars fan. We got Star Wars fans here. There we go. I love Star Wars. Favorite Star Wars character, sir? Who you got? It's Jar Jar Binks? Really? Hey, look, I am not going to hate on Jar Jar, but if that's your first round pick, how's your fantasy team doing this year, sir? If that's... You drafted the kicker in the first round? I'll give you a... Okay, so it's not Jar Jar. Who is it? Luke Skywalker. There you go. That's a born and bred hero. He's in my top 5. I like Leia. I like Chewie, who is microchipped. But my favorite Star Wars character of all time, Yoda. Love me some Yoda. Not the baby. We all remember the last joke. Not the baby. I like OG Yoda. I like Yoda. And it's not because Yoda's wise. It's not because Yoda's powerful. I love Yoda because Yoda's 900 years old. 900. Yoda's a 900-year-old man, not one sexual assault allegation against him. Not one. He's been on the Jedi Council for 700 years. Never a secretary. Never a Christmas party. Never a road gig in Jacksonville. Legal, she looked. Never happened once. You ladies imagine getting a DM from Yoda in the middle of the night? Just says, up you? Yoda's on the straight and narrow, man. He never got tag hash to mead. Of all the jokes you're going to see tonight, that was the hardest fucking one to pull off. That little Muppet. That syntax is something special, man. And I am not a Jedi. I do know this about Star Wars. The fans are spoiled. Like, you fans that are so spoiled. Because you have 12 movies, you have a new episode of a TV show every week, and you still find flaws. You're like, I don't know, that speeder's bright pink. Really? Is that what we're doing? Why don't you take the DeLorean back to my era, when I was a kid, in the 90s, when we had to read new Star Wars. Yeah. And we actually had to read it, not like you Game of Thrones fans who claim to read the books. Game of Thrones fans, they love telling their friends they read the books. They buy the books, they put them on a nice shelf, and then they listen to the books in audio form. You didn't read the books, you had them read to you, like an infant. My niece and my nephews, they're super into Harry Potter. They love Harry Potter. So much so that this past Halloween, when the Ellis family went trick-or-treating together, we all had to go as Harry Potter characters. And guess who got to be the person of honor? Yeah. My niece, she asked me the day before Halloween, she's like, Uncle Mark, we talked about it. And in my head, I'm like, shit, is this an intervention? Is it? And she's like, we want you to be Harry. And yeah, it was so cute. And I knew I was going to break her heart because I said yes, and I'll do everything I can to pull off Harry Potter, but she's 7. She's expecting the kid from the movies. She's not expecting middle-aged, burned out, hasn't cast a spell in 30 years, Harry Potter. Still wearing his Gryffindor robe, but gets a high school varsity jacket. But Harry Potter, I'll give it credit, man. Adults love that too, and I think it kind of still works. Like, there's some things that we all loved as kids that just don't work when you're a grown-up. He-Man, great example. You would not find a better fan of He-Man than I. I was the biggest He-Man fan when I was 5 years old. Other things I enjoyed when I was 5 included eating my own boogers and having my mom wipe my ass because I don't know how to do it yet. But my buddy called me. He's 45 years old. He called me a couple weeks ago. He's like, man, they're making a new He-Man movie. How exciting is that? And I'm like, well, I'm an adult, so I just don't think it works, especially in modern times. The name He-Man? It's a little pronoun specific, don't you think? Maybe call it he-maybe? Them person? Sometimes characters will just let you down, though. Like, the biggest letdown for me was Batman. And I'm not talking about the movies. Like, all the movies are cool, but just actually knowing the character. This happened a little ways back. There's an animated show in the Batman universe about the character Harley Quinn. And the writers put a joke in there. And about Batman. They said Batman was going down on Catwoman. And Warner Brothers nixed the joke. They said Batman doesn't do that. Yeah, apparently Batman is the DJ Khaled of superheroes. He doesn't go south of the border, okay? And it's like their official quote was, good guys don't do that. And if that's true, that means get the handbasket, because I'm going to hell. I'm telling you, you ladies cheering, that's great, but it's really better for both parties, okay? Because sex is fun, but that's where babies come from, so I'm nervous. And when you're having sex, sometimes you open your eyes at the same time. It's like, oh, hey, okay, I'll close first. And there's just weird rules to sex. Like, it's the most fun thing you could do on earth, yet you're a creep if you smile during it. You know, just let me do my thing, you do your thing. Give me the canary, I'll go down below, and then you ladies can focus on what you do well. You can work on the acting performance of your career. And I'm down there getting work done, because going down it's not like a talent thing, it's just a heart thing. It's just a gritty, gutty, every word you associate with white athletes. That's what going down is. You know, just try your best and just never give up. And that's why Batman's mopey all the time, because he can't please a woman. Apparently the world's greatest detective can't find the clitoris. So he's just at home with Alfred watching Blue Bloods night after night. Meanwhile, Joker's out there robbing banks, having fun, eating ass, getting things done. You know, as you all let me talk more, you realize why I'm single? Which not only do I love being single, I think all my married friends actually love that I am single. Because all the females that I'm friends with that are married, I'm their little experiment. You know, they love trying to set me up with somebody. And my dude friends, they adore me, because I'll get a text like, hey man, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, well, it's 2:30, so I'm watching ESPN, then I'm gonna go take a nap. And they're like, can I come over? Can I nap with you, Mark? Like every couple, sometimes you just need an outlet. I'm your wingman. Come on over. Hang out. Remember what it used to be like. Because I don't know if it's gonna happen for old Uncle Mark. I don't. And I don't really care about it, because we all know that like person who, they're in a serious relationship, they break up, and then they're just not themselves until they meet somebody else. Like I have a friend, they broke up, and then the next week they met somebody new, they're already saying I love you, they're planning trips together. That's not my speed. Okay? I break up with somebody, I need a good 6-7 years to really think about what happened, you know, where she went wrong. I do like the dating event, though. Like dating, it's an event for me. I get up for it, I get excited about it. First date with me, awesome. You're gonna have a great time on the first date. I have some funny stories, I'm charming, I can usually cover the bill. Second date, that's when it starts to go downhill. Second date, you're like, he really likes Van Halen. Third date, you're like, he fell asleep at the table. Can I leave? I don't know what to do. Yeah, and you know, I think it just doesn't make sense for me to settle down now when we're so close to interplanetary travel. You know? Who knows when it could happen, but if you think when we can just go live on another planet, if you think I'm dragging some Earthling up there with me, no, man, I want to be like Star Trek. I want to live long, prosper, and Captain Kirk some hot alien ass. That's the dream. My mom is thrilled that I don't have kids. So much so that I'm like a little offended. Because she'll say things to me that she will not say to her other 2 kids. My sister has 1 kid, great. My brother's got 2 kids, awesome. I got a dog, and she's like, are you sure you're ready for that responsibility? And kids in general, they just like, I just feel like we're past the golden age with kids, you know? Like the 1600s, that was how you do it. The 1600s, you could have 10 kids, 2 of them make it, you're father of the year. There was no pressure about modern society. There was no worry about school shootings or virtual reality. You had one rule back then. Don't talk to the cursed goat. Everybody had a farm. There's fun animals. Just that one googly-eyed one, we think it's a witch. Don't talk to that one. The Quaker Oat guy said it put a curse on us if you looked at it, so don't do that. But now, man, kids. I just don't find a lot of good reasons to have kids. I'm not sure. One of the ones they used to hear is, oh, I need to propagate the species. There's 8 billion of us on Earth. If Earth was a nightclub, the fire marshal would shut it down. Had a buddy, he's like, oh, I just kind of wanted a kid because they're cute. Oh, if you think kids are cute, you've only seen the first 10 minutes of Gremlins. The best, though, is one of my friends has 4 kids, and he's like, I don't know, man, I just wanted something to, give a legacy to me. Like, he literally said, I just want something to outlive me. And I'm like, dude, you wanted a turtle. All right? Turtles are much cheaper. Kids will eat you out of house and home. A turtle, 1 head of lettuce keeps it satisfied for like a decade. You want kids, but you're on a budget? Turtle. Yeah, and it's a funny situation in my family, too, because, like, currently there's 2 single people left. There's me and my mom. And I do okay, but my mom is out there. She travels the world, she meets interesting people, but sometimes it happens where you don't expect it. Like, she started hanging out with a guy who lives up the street. And we've had that house for 30 years. He's been there for 30 years. We have both been in that neighborhood for so long. When I was a kid, I took his daughter to a couple high school dances. Yeah, and remember, boys, going to pick up your date, so nerve-wracking because you're in your suit, you're sweaty, you ring the doorbell, she's not answering. She's got to do her Belle, Beauty and the Beast walk down the stairs. So it's the dad, and he just opens the door and he's like, you have her home by 10:30, young man. I'm like, yes, sir. So this past Thanksgiving, I was home, and guess who came to pick my mom up? Yep. Oh, I was waiting. It was 3:30 p.m. and I was just sitting in a rocking chair waiting. He rings the doorbell, I answer, and he's like, hey, Mark, I'm here to take your mom out. And I'm like, 10:15, motherfucker. You have no idea how weird it is to call someone a motherfucker and have it maybe be accurate.
There's a table, and they go, boo, Disney, boo! And I said, yeah, okay, so you agree with me. What do you guys do? And they're like, we work at Universal Studios. And then another table was like, boo, Universal Studios, boo. And I was like, you're right. Both of those things are such a big deal in Orlando. I said, where do you guys work? And they're like, we work at Disney. And I was like, that's going to be the weirdest gang fight in the parking lot. Just Universal Studios guys like, the Disney guys pull knives like, come on, motherfucker. Oh, boy, I'm going to cut you. Oh, boy. I said, what do you guys do at Disney? They're like, we sell timeshares. And everyone in the audience all at once goes, fuck yeah!
I like Disneyland. One of my favorite things in the world is going to Disneyland and watching angry dads. Nothing perks up my ears more than hearing a stranger yell, well then we're going home at 1 p.m. in line for Pinocchio. It's the best. I'm like, forget the parade. I got front row tickets to this show. I'm telling you, you haven't lived till you've seen a grown man have a mental breakdown in Mickey ears. There is nothing more entertaining than watching a dad lose it while wearing a backpack full of granola bars.
And again, it's just like watching the families walk out of Disneyland. Here's what I propose. I think as you exit Disneyland, you should be able to take a left and go to parking, or take a right and get a vasectomy right then and there. Honey, you get the car. I got one more ride I got to go on real quick. And make it part of the fun. Let Goofy perform it. Put a sign up, Mr. Toad's Urology, and you get in the office, you're waiting, the 7 dwarfs march in, Doc gives you the anesthesia, here comes Goofy in a smock, Hilk, you're done. Mickey's waving to you, now we both talk like this. And it's Disneyland, so on your way out of the office, you get a picture of yourself getting a vasectomy. Disney's one of those weird corporations, though, that liberals and conservatives kind of hate at the same time. Over the same subject, just for different reasons. Like last year, we got that Buzz Lightyear movie, and both sides hated it. Conservatives thought that Buzz Lightyear made every kid in America gay. Not sure what they based it on, but that's what the belief was. And liberals were like, where was Buzz Lightyear on January 6th?